Reigning U.S. Open champ Bryson DeChambeau putting himself in terrific position to win the Masters and don that green jacket. Bryson with a par on 18, 4 under on Friday, 7 under for the tournament through 2 rounds. As DeChambeau went 11 of 18 greens in regulation, 7 of 7 for scrambling here on Friday, and with the exception of the bogey on the par 3 16th. Could have been bogey-free without that, but still a fantastic round for DeChambeau heading into moving day. I'm Tommy Tran, and our Masters coverage continues with Matt Every and Doug Bell. Guys, great to be with you. Matt, I'm going to give you first word on Bryson DeChambeau. What did you see out of him today that he built upon Thursday?
Well, it's hard to believe, Tommy, that Bryson, came in under the radar this week, but it kind of feels like that. And look, at this current moment, I would almost consider him the favorite from what I've seen. I'll tell you what I've noticed the most. He's driving it very straight today, this week. But not only is he driving it straight, it's no secret how this guy bombs the ball. He's 15 yards longer than the next guy in the field. That is a massive weapon, if you ask me. And one other thing, as the week goes on and this golf course starts to firm up, and these greens firm up, the length of those drives is going to be a huge advantage for Bryson just because of his angle of attack. The descent angle on his approach shots is so much steeper than the next guy.
And guys, what we're seeing, I believe, is really the maturation process of one of the superstars in the game at Augusta National. He's 31 years old. This is his 9th start at the Masters, his best start ever. Last year started with 65, followed with 74. He's never started with back-to-back rounds in the 60s. I mean, he's never been in this position before. And as Matt said, accuracy off the tee for 2 days, 11 of 14 fairways hit. That has never been in the case before. He's still leading the field in driving distance. They record and measure those drives on holes 5 and 15, and he's way ahead of everybody. So he can still get it out there when he needs to. But I think what we saw today was really a conservative play by Bryson, and it results in this incredible round. He didn't even birdie the par 5s on the second 9, 13 or 15, and he's right there. And listen, the patrons are in full force, as you might imagine. The weather is fabulous, and Rory had a big gallery. Scotty has a big gallery, but the biggest gallery so far today and the loudest gallery, the most electricity, is with Bryson, guys. He moves the needle, and now there's a buzz throughout this property. Bryson DeChambeau's name is up there in the leaderboard way at the top. And again, let's emphasize, he's never been in this position before in 8 previous tries at Augusta National.
He's not going to break 50 at Augusta National, but that's what he's popular for on his YouTube channel, is try to break 50 with some of the game's biggest and brightest stars. Just to follow up on the driving thing, Matt, because I do have a stat here, as DeChambeau hit 22 of 28 fairways through 36 holes, on pace to be his best driving accuracy at the Masters in his career. Again, give us a little bit more what you mean by that, because as we're watching Bryson do what he does right now, what does it mean for him to drive well, to be accurate, to find the fairways?
He's playing he's playing a different golf course than these guys if he drives it well, and it is the biggest weapon in his bag, maybe the biggest weapon in pro golf when he's got it going good. He can take advantage of it here. There's other golf courses you play throughout the year where these guys are kind of handcuffed off the tee. Not at Augusta National. You can let that thing rip off the tee, and Bryson can use his strengths to his advantage. I'm telling you, do not sleep on this golf course baking out this weekend. It's going to play big time into his hands.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot of fairways, guys, missing some greens, but I think what we're seeing about him, and so much is made of his driving distance and his prowess lengthwise, and understandably so, but he really does have a very good short game, and it's been on display now for 36 holes. For the 36 holes now, he's 5 under par on the par 5s, and we'll emphasize again, didn't birdie 13 or 15 on that second 9 today, but still -5, pretty good when you're -7. But I think what that tells you, he's been pretty good on the par 4s and the 3 pars. So again, I know Bryson is excited, and nobody practices more than Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah, good day, but he's now eating lunch and going out to practice more this afternoon, getting ready for the weekend, and he'll be there later than anybody tonight.
Multiple sub-70 rounds in a singles Masters for the first time in his career. Doug, I'll throw it back to you. You mentioned some of the shorter stuff, and I also mentioned the stat 7 of 7 from scrambling. What do you make of that from him today?
Again, I think that's the maturity process of a player who was so much into hitting a long way, being the longest driver, fiddling with your clubs, and doing all these dramatic things that everybody talks about. But I think aside from always tinkering with his driver, I mean, his guy with a bag is on him on the range with like 6 or 8 driver heads, and they're always taking one off and putting one on. But he spends a lot of time in the short game area, and I think that is the real, I think that's the brilliance of his game. We saw it on display at Pinehurst when he won the U.S. Open. Didn't hit a lot of fairways, but managed to get up and down all week long. And again, that's what you have to do at Augusta National. And so far for 36 holes, Bryson DeChambeau, the longest hitter in the world, is showing off a pretty nifty short game. And who knows, maybe that'll bring him a green jacket.
Yeah, Tommy, I want to add to that too. You know, the 7-7 up and down for Bryson. I think that comes into what Doug said a little earlier. This is his 9th time around here, and Bryson's a student of the game. He's a scholar. He's a scientist, and every time he goes around this track, he's learning new things. 7 out of 7, you know, it sounds great, but if you're leaving yourself in good spots here around Augusta National, it's very doable. Just can't put yourself in terrible spots, and Bryson's clearly done that.
It's interesting. You mentioned the different iterations of Bryson DeChambeau, and Doug has mentioned it. We keep bringing it up, and things have changed for him. He went from being a guy that some people thought was more of an anti-hero, maybe even a villain, and you guys are both on tour regularly. I mean, have you ever seen this type of 180? Doug, I'll give you first word on seeing an elite type of golfer go through so many changes like this in maybe a short amount of time.
It is amazing, Tommy, the transformation. I had this great picture of me and Bryson in Memphis many years ago. He'd come out of college. He had that Ben Hogan hat with the SMU logo, and he was skinny, and he was a college kid, and he was funny. He was glad to be interviewed. And then I was at Colonial during the COVID, after the COVID shutdown for HQ, and I said, who is that big heavyset guy with the muscles bulging out? That was Bryson, and he went through that weightlifting routine with the protein shakes, and now he's slimmed down a bit, and I think Matt nailed it, and I see it all the time. Again, he's 31 years old. That doesn't sound old. For a golfer, that means he's been out there for quite some time, and I think he's growing up before our very eyes, and I think he realizes what it takes now. He wants major championships like all these guys. He has 2 of them. But, of course, he wants the green jacket, and so we'll see what happens. Listen, for 36 holes, if you add it all up, it's looking pretty good. Driving distance, driving accuracy, and that short game prowess.
I remember my first time running into Bryson. It actually was watching the Masters. I watched him play with Jordan Spieth the first 2 days, and I was picking up on some body language out there, and I remember watching it with some friends and being like, I feel like Jordan knows Bryson's just as good as him. I mean, he is, you know, the ultimate entertainer out there. I've always been a fan of watching him play. There's so many ways to get it done out here, and you know, I think over time, his vulnerability, you know, kind of opening his life up a little bit to us has helped him out a ton.
Those that have been clamoring for more Bryson DeChambeau at the Masters, they will get it this weekend. If they weren't satisfied on Thursday and Friday, of course, when you play well, you'll be featured no matter what. Matt, Doug, certainly appreciate it. A reminder about the Masters as we get to the weekend here. This year's offerings includes 5 additional hours of live coverage for the 3rd and final rounds. We're opening up an extra hour on Saturday to match Sunday, and then Paramount Plus will debut 4 live hours from noon to 2 Eastern on both days, which will also stream on Masters.com and the Masters app.